Hey everybody, and welcome back to Speed Racing Network Season 2 Truck Series. We are so excited to be back. I have my co-host that we had last year, Brandon Domingue, with me. Brandon, how have you been, man?
I am so happy that the break is over. I was saying on Sunday, it felt like the longest break and the shortest break all at the same time. But we got that month or so of the summer break out of the way. We're ready to go back racing at Daytona. I know I'm excited. How are you feeling?
Oh, dude, I've been waiting. This feels like the longest month, like you said, ever. You know, we got a great new lineup here for Speed Racing Network. We got a new healthcare billing incorporated pre-race show. We got a nice new double box that our producer Sean Griffith put together, so you can see our beautiful mugs. And we got a lot of new sponsors, a lot of new rules to go over, and a lot of new drivers as well. It's been a silly season. I know that is a popular term in NASCAR. What stood out to you, Brandon?
Well, I mean, really, you're looking at about half the drivers are either new to the series altogether or they're on new teams. We've seen a lot of switches that have happened, but at the top of the top of the charts, we got two of our favorites from last year, including our defending champion, back here again this season in the trucks. I think that's kind of the story that you have to keep an eye on: is Michael Madden and Cole Martin, are they going to be able to hold off the field once again this year?
Two of the stronger contenders again this year. Obviously, Cole Martin with a ton of wins last year. Michael coming up with 3 as well. And, you know, they had a little bit of a run-in at the last race at Texas, which, you know, caused up a little bit of drama. But Cole Martin able to come away with that in the end. And, you know, it's only going to feed into what we're going to see this season. But that is not to take away from a lot of the drivers that we see out there. There's a lot of talented drivers coming back for this season that are going to be hungrier than ever to prove that they have what it takes. So let's go ahead and jump into what we're going to see this year with our race details coming up here in a short. Let's go ahead and talk about what the race is. It's Sparkle and Shine 125 here at Daytona International Speedway, and we're going to have a 50-lap race with one fast repair, and that is just one of the changes that we are going to go ahead and talk about that's coming up this season. Last season, the trucks had 2, and they kind of wanted to clean up the driving that we were seeing out there, and one of the solutions was less fast repairs. So, Brandon, do you think that's going to really help it out?
You know, I was a big proponent of that discussion that was happening last year, and reducing it, thinking that it's going to lead to a little bit less aggressive driving and a little bit fewer needless movements on the track, knowing that you only have 1 as opposed to the 2. I'm a big fan of this reduction down to the 1. I thought 2 was just a little bit too much. And I think for the 50 laps here at Daytona, it's great for everybody. This is our entry-level league of sorts. Obviously, everybody still has to have a pretty good I rating to make it here. But I think for the 50 laps, it's good knowing that you have that 1 in your back pocket in case trouble breaks out tonight.
Yeah, I agree. You know, 2 was a lot to give the drivers out there. It made for a little bit of reckless driving at the time, or a couple times during the races. But at the same time, we did see a lot of really good, clean races too. So it just goes to show, you know, some tracks promote harsher racing than others, and I think that one fast repair is going to really make these guys second guess that move. But potentially, you know, maybe not jump in front of this guy, or maybe not try to side draft another guy. So we're going to see just how well it works with 50 laps here at Daytona International Speedway. Obviously, want to thank Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing for coming on board and sponsoring this race. And as I said, we have an awesome new sponsor promoting this pre-race show, and Healthcare Billing Incorporated. Make sure you go ahead and check them out. So let's go ahead and dive into our league details next. You know, a lot of the same, but a few changes here and there. It's another 20-week season here in Season 2. Fixed setups as always. And like I said, right there in that third bullet is 1 fast repair. So we're going to have $5 per week for your entry fee. And like we had last year, we're going to have weekly and season payouts as well. $300 to the champion, and 5-person teams with that team championship going to win $100. Last year we saw Red Racing come away with that, and Cole Martin came away with that season championship money. So, you know, a lot of good stuff that worked last season, so I'm not surprised to see it here again.
Yeah, and we mentioned the fast repair being one of the big changes. The other big change here on this screen that we'll see is that 5-person team in the team championship, changing up the format with that, where that's going into the playoff style version as well, where they'll have all the teams seeded 1 through 8 for the top 8 teams, and it's going to be a playoff bracket as they advance through the playoffs. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. Love the fact that we get the weekly and season payouts. You don't see that from a whole lot of leagues, and it just makes SRN stand out a little bit more above most of the rest, if not all of the rest, really.
For sure. And, that is one of the cool things that you mentioned. That playoff bracket is certainly going to spice things up towards the end of the season. We saw a lot of runaway teams last year, which kind of made it not as exciting as it could have been, but that is not going to be the case this year. So let's go ahead and move on to our next thing. We're going to go ahead and talk about the race payouts we're going to see here tonight. I'm pretty sure we should have a full field, as we were kind of overbooked on the truck roster this season. So some people not going to be able to race today, as we are only going to have 43 trucks in this field, and that is a big field for Daytona. A lot of 2-wide, 3-wide battles out there. So first place is going to come away with $15. You're going to triple their money, and then second place is going to come away with $10, with third through fifth coming away with $5. So that is another thing that SRN is taking pride in this season: guaranteed payouts for first through fifth, Brandon.
Yeah, and you get that top 5, you're getting at least your money back, and you can put it forward to the next race unless you pay it out the entire season up front. Then you can just pocket that money. But it's a nice little payout here, $15 to get the race win. And again, you start winning races, you're looking at getting that $300 season payout for the championship as well, should you get there. So there's a lot of ways that you can make some pretty good money here in the Truck Series.
Yeah, and we saw, like we said, Cole Martin. I can't remember the exact number of races that he won last year, because he won so many. He won 7, I'm hearing from my producer. So, I mean, $15 over the course of 7 races, that's going to easily pay for his season. And then he's coming away with that championship money as well at the end of the season. So there is definitely a lot of opportunities to make money here in this Truck Series, with only putting up $5 per week. So really not much else to go on there. Let's go ahead and move on now to something we've always loved to promote here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show, and it's my good buddy Kane Cook, and he has an awesome sim coaching program that he is offering up to our drivers here at SRN and everybody out there in the audience. This guy is a professional iRacing Coke Series driver. That just says enough right there. But if that's not enough for you, let me go ahead and spell it out for you. You see right there, he's got 2 iRacing accounts, both of which are over 7,000 iRating. That is not easy, Brandon, at all.
No, I mean, you're looking, and I know myself, I'm around 2,400, so I'm thinking about 3 times that. It's just incredible what he's done. I actually got to work with Kane a couple weeks ago for the first time, so I no longer have to say I heard great things. I can vouch for him personally on great things in his coaching style, and even not even just driving style, but he worked with me on some things as far as setting up visuals, setting up sound, setting up things that are kind of before you even get onto the track that can improve your driving. I went into a session with him just trying to get the ins and outs of the Xfinity car for making the jump this season to that, and he worked with me on a whole lot of things there. So can't say enough good things about Kane.
Yeah, the guy has completely changed the way I race. Coming into SRN 2 seasons ago, I did not count myself as much of a contender with a lot of these guys that we race with week in and week out. But, man, he really changed my game so much, and I really was able to show that during the last race of the season last year at Texas, where I led 80-plus laps and won my first race in the Xfinity Series here in SRN, and I owe it all to this man on the screen. So please, if you guys are ever interested to get a little bit better, or maybe learn a little something that might give you an edge over competitors with, like Brandon said, maybe setting up your visuals or helping you out with pit entry or just footwork in general, read that red text right there. Book your session on speedracingnetwork.com. It's a very easy process to go through and get set up. So you can't pass up the opportunity to work with someone who has gotten to the pinnacle of sim racing. So please check it out. All right. So let's go ahead and start with a new sponsor that we have here on SRN. We have the Beer of the Week coming up here. So go ahead and check out what we got for you this week.
This week's Beer Street Journal Beer of the Week is brought to you by Mother Earth Brew Company out of California. It's a beautiful can that was designed by Michael Carini, who is an abstract artist, and he calls it Cognitive Aerobics. And so the beer itself is a 50-50 mix of hops from New Zealand and also from the Pacific Northwest. And the brewing process brings out the fruitier and juicier qualities of that blend. And so you'll kind of get some citrus flavors going on with this beer. So your palate will definitely get a workout, which is why they call it Cognitive Aerobics. You'll taste both kind of old school and new school hops in every single sip. So that beer is available just for a limited time in 16-ounce cans and draft, mostly in California. But if you want to know more about that beer or any other beers, go to beerstreetjournal.com and find your next great beer.
Yeah, so go ahead, check out Cognitive Aerobics from Mother Earth Brew Company. You see the website right there. We can't thank Beer Street Journal enough for coming on board here and helping us out this season. And you know what? I'm a big beer fan, so I love hearing about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. Live in an area where we got a lot of breweries. Hopefully one day maybe see one of those breweries local to me up here on this one for the Beer of the Week. But love this new segment. Always open to expanding out into trying new beers and seeing what's out there.
So yeah, once again, that was Beer Street Journal. We thank them very much here. Can't wait to see what they have for us next week. So let's go ahead and move on to the team intros here. Like we said, a silly off season, like we like to say in the NASCAR industry here. A lot of changes, a lot of new teams, and a lot of drivers moving around. So first, we're going to go ahead and talk about our truck team champions last year, Revved Racing. They've got a couple of new drivers on board. We had a long off season to get a little mini series going within the team. I am on the team as well, so we had a few races to get some guys on board, and the new guys on board this season are going to be the 7 truck there of Lucas Lyons and the 29 of Sean Jensic coming on board, along with a couple guys from the winning team last season. Michael Madden, who had a couple wins last year. Sean Kozier, he got a lot of experience during the first season last year, so he is definitely expecting to make the playoffs this year. And Cody Riggs, he is hunting down that first win harder than anybody. So this team is hungry. I can tell you that the 2 rookies on the team, Lucas and Sean, definitely have what it takes to get it done here this year, Brandon.
Yeah, and I always think about just the way that Rev, y'all just communicate and really put to use good strategy inside races, and for rookies to be on that team, be able to kind of pick up those tips as well. If they have any speed and can put that together, that's going to be a pretty dangerous combination. I would say expect some pretty good things here from Rev again this season.
Let's go ahead and move on to that runner-up team from last year, Jonathan Byer Racing. You see it right there, consistency, speed. They know how to get it done. They didn't get any wins last year, but they were still able to come home in the runner-up position, just short of that $100 payout. And a lot of new names here on the team, as well as JBR has expanded into the Xfinity series this season. So some of those drivers are moving up, but some of them are also staying. You see Kyle Wimble there in the 3-car. He's still around. Jack Johnson in the 35. And Jonathan Byer there in the 66, along with James Kerr. Those are the guys that have been there. But then we got the 13 of Landon Cardulo. He is a new guy this year. We got to see him in Tank Racing's Demolition Derby, and he seems like he might be one to watch out for this year.
And I think the big thing with JBR this season is, and we hit that word again, consistency, and that's going back to last season. They got 4 of their 5 drivers were on the team last year, and I think that's going to go a long way for this team continuing to gel and not having to take a couple weeks to kind of figure each other out.
Yeah, I'm not going to take anything away from them, too. They had a win locked up before Jonathan Byer ran out of fuel there at Charlotte. So they have one in my book, but it just didn't work out for him there. So they can definitely get it done this season. So let's go ahead and move on to our next team. We're going to see here R&D Motorsports, another team that we're used to seeing here. They really started to put things together towards the end of last season, especially with Bobby Anderson finishing 3rd in the championship. A great season for him. But this season, they've added some new faces from different teams. Evan Scott basically ran by himself last year in the Truck Series, but now that he has the full team around him, I expect to see him finishing very high Michael Amenti, we saw him kind of fizzle out last year. He is one of those drivers that could win on any track. And Jason Crackey and Mike Mosby are always in the mix, Brandon.
Yeah, and the name that jumps out, and no disrespect to any of the other four, but I really look at that name, Evan Scott, up there, and we talk about that he was an independent last year, showed great speed, and that was without having teams to work with. I think you just add that extra element there. The way that he can drive, I think we might be seeing him threaten victory lane at least once here this season.
This team definitely has a few drivers that can definitely threaten to get that checker flag here this year, but another one that we're going to see contending this year is going to be Stryker Motorsports. They've expanded into all 3 series this season as well. You know, we mentioned that with JBR moving up to Xfinity. These guys have expanded everywhere. So, you know, that is not an easy thing to do by any means. But because of that expansion, there has been some restructuring. Team captain Travis Trevelyan is back this season, but basically everyone else there is new to the team or drove part-time last year. So there's bound to be a little bit of feeling out early in the season. But at Daytona, if they can get together on the track, we could see some heads turn with this team.
Yeah, and you know, this is the team obviously I'll be keeping an eye on being with them for the Xfinity series and running the truck last season with them. But Mike and Travis coming back, but then bringing in Tevin Whitner and Kevin Winker, who did race last year in the trucks, as well as Don Milkowitz. I think there's a pretty good chemistry already forming for the team, so hopefully it's a pretty quick start there for my guys down in Stryker for the truck series.
Definitely excited to see what this young team can do, make some heads turn. That's all we're trying to do here at SRN, but let's go ahead and move on to our next team here in Speed Racing Network Season 2. And it's going to be Tank Racing, and I just love this intro. It's really cool. Our producer Sean did a great job with it. But Tank Racing is back again this season, and they've added a couple of talented drivers to their Truck Series stable. We've been told that Jacob Zala is a pretty good driver, and we saw just a little bit of Bruce Amston early last season. One thing we know about Tank Racing is how much they practice. They are working constantly to get better on the track, so I expect some of that practice and strategy to pay off, especially at a track like Daytona where working with teammates is crucial, Brandon.
Yeah, and you know, they're one of the more lighthearted teams and definitely joke around a lot, but don't confuse that for what they can do on the track. And Josh Mueller there in that 26, one of the better plate drivers from last season as well. So I would say they might be seeing him as a possible sleeper pick here tonight.
All right, well, another sleeper pick we might go here with is a brand new team to SRN, Zoo Yost Racing. Rob Yost was last season's underdog, but can you really be an underdog after you made the playoffs the previous season? Anyway, he went out and started his own team and invited along a few good drivers. We've seen Jamie Plurd before. He's a very talented driver that was in the Xfinity Series last season. We'll see how he handles it in the trucks, but seeing as how his only victory last season came in the Truck Series at Las Vegas, I'd say Zoo Yost Racing has a chance, even with only 4 drivers on the team.
Yeah, that 4-driver lineup, it's going to be tough to stay consistent because you got to make sure everybody runs well and runs every race just to start with. But if they can add somebody, it'll go a long way. But even if not, this is a pretty solid lineup here. And you mentioned Jamie with that win at Las Vegas, also very good on the road courses in the races that he ran there. So that might be somebody to keep an eye on as we go through the season, along with Rob, who was one of the playoff drivers from last season.
Right, next up on our Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show team intros is going to be another new team, 13 Folds Sim Racing. A brand new team this year, 13 Folds Sim Racing named itself after the 13 folds that it takes to fold the American flag before it is presented to the family of a fallen soldier or first responder. Each fold has a specific meaning with 13 weeks in the regular season. We felt it would be appropriate to talk about one fold each week. This week, the first fold represents the symbol of life. We appreciate the service from our soldiers and first responders. On this team this season are Brian Crocker and Andrew Harris. Harris had 2 wins last season, so 13 Folds Sim Racing is getting a good head start from that. We don't know David Miller, Grant Altsire, or Clint Hackett, but we will see how they can do tonight.
Yeah, really interesting to see how this team plays out, but I know with Andrew Harris there, you got a fast driver that's going to be leading the pack there, so we'll see what they can do here.
Next, we're going to have Roel Smith Racing here on the pre-race show. Roel Smith Racing, most notably houses last season's Truck Series champion, Cole Martin. Cole had 7 wins last season and is back to defend that title. But not only that, Royal Smith Racing has completely stacked their lineup with drivers that could win all races that they're in. If last season in the Cup Series is any indication on how RSR works, you're likely to see one of their drivers in the top 5 every single race, Brandon.
Yeah, and you're seeing a couple of the drivers that were in the Xfinity series from last season with Nathan Mann and Troy Techmeyer. Really curious to see how they transition to the trucks, but either way, they're going to be bringing a lot of experience there along with the defending champ.
The last team that we're going to intro here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show is going to be a team that was here from the beginning, making a return, the Do-Gooders. They took last season off, but for those of you that do remember, a couple of seasons ago, Do-Gooders was known as the fun team. They were mostly mid-pack that season, but this season they are looking to have fun while moving up the leaderboards. Be on the lookout, especially for Joseph DuPont, who has won some races in Speed Racing Network before. Could we see a resurgence from him or Taylor Smith? Taylor was one of the most improved drivers a couple seasons ago. It'll be interesting to say the least, but that's what Do-Gooders is all about.
Yeah, always good to see a team that's going to have fun out there, and hopefully they can bring some success to that as well. It's always a lot more fun when you do well, so we'll see if they can couple that together.
All right, well, that will do it for the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. We are ready to get going for the Sparkle and Shine 125 here at Daytona International Speedway, and on the pole is Michael Madden out of Revved Racing, last year's runner-up in the team or in the individual season championship standings, and on the outside pole is Jason Kratky of R&D Motorsports.
Yeah, row 2. I like row 2. It's Kevin Winker and Don Milkowitz, both out of Stryker Motorsports. Row 3, we'll have Bobby Anderson, another one of the championship 6 with the tiebreakers from last season. Sean Kozier in the 6th position. 7th, Cody Riggs out of Revved Racing. 8th, Sean Jensick, one of the new drivers, also out of Revved.
Yeah, 9th, we're going to have Mike Mosby from R&D Motorsports, and Walt Lipicki, a rookie last season who's looking to turn some heads this year, is going to be starting 10th out of Tank Racing, and Lucas Lyons there in 11th, one of the rookies on Rev Racing this season, and Evan Scott, one of the new guys on R&D Motorsports, up there in 12th. So a lot of guys on new teams and a few rookies up here in the top 12, and then, 13th, we're going to go ahead and have Michael G. Aminti as well, with Dave Fuji just behind him in 14th. Jamie Plurd's going to be 15th, and Nathan Mon out of RSR is going to be 16th, Brandon.
Yep, and then our defending champion, Cole Martin, going to be starting 17th. Closing out row number 9 is going to be Jonathan Byer, who's still looking to get that first win after being so close last year to having that one done. Ed Shearer out of RSR and Jack Johnson out of JBR in row number 10. Row 11 going to be Kyle Wimble, another one of the championship 6 from last season, and Troy Techmeyer. In row 12, Landon Cardulo and Michael York.
Yeah, so that's our top 24. You see them pulling off pit road with one pace lap to go before we just unleash what's bound to be a heck of a race here at Daytona. Brandon, I always like to give you the floor when we're making picks, so I'm going to go ahead and let you take it.
Well, so it would be easy for me to go with my own team on this one at Daytona. Always a bit of a wild card race. I don't want to jinx any of them. So I'm going to try not to jinx anybody, but I really don't want to run that risk. But one thing that stood out to me was the success last year on plate tracks for Josh Mueller, who would typically start in the mid-20s, kind of like he's doing tonight, but his average finish last year on plate races was 6th. I think he'll have another good night here at Daytona.
Yeah, I mentioned him in the pre-race show for my pick, and he got one ripped away from him last season at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I think my pick tonight is going to be someone who's hungry to get that first win in SRN. It's going to be Jonathan Byer in that 66 machine. He wants to get that first win for his team that's expanding into the Xfinity Series. Why not do it tonight at Daytona in the season opener, All right, well, we're going to see this pace car peel off here, and we're going to have 50 laps under the lights, which is something new for this season here at SRN. We did not run any races at nighttime last year. We are under the lights, and we are under the green flag for the Speed Racing Network. Sparkle and Shine 125, and Michael Madden is going to lead him to the line in that inside row. and I don't think he's going to really be able to pull off on that outs. And we are already under yellow. We got we got about 3 or 4 cars turned around here in the back, and ooh, the number 4 getting into nowhere to go.
John Taylor in the 4, Rick Shigori in the 20. 2 of our newer drivers getting caught up here out of the tri-oval on lap number 1. Not the start they were looking for here to their start at SRN. And very quickly, we go to the Beer Street Journal Rec replay. Please drink responsibly as we get ready for our first caution of the night. And let's see what happened here.
Yeah, it just looks like we might have had a miscommunication with these drivers kind of hanging back. And see the 20 here, he's going to get a good run. Oh, I guess I'm not sure who that is right there. I can't get a number right now. But whoever it was, they certainly were not clear. Probably thinking they were. Oh, it's the 14 there. Is that
14
is
to
that
David Miller?
Eugene? Okay.
So just yeah, thought he was clear. Looks like just barely caught him, but just enough to set that off. And it's going to be about 5 trucks involved, and that's heavy damage there. Ooh, also see the 63 of Bruce Amston involved in that one as well. And he had some pretty significant damage there, it looked like. So that one fast repair might be getting some use here on lap number 1 for more than a handful of drivers.
Yeah, you cannot run through Daytona with any type of damage and expect to keep up. So these drivers are already going to have to burn that fast repair. Unfortunately for the 4, what I think happened there, you saw the 20 kind of blink out when he got spun around there. And I'm not sure the 4 knew where he was going to end up on track, and he just did not want to run up into the 63, but unfortunately still got involved in it. So that is really unfortunate for him. But yeah, you guys are going to have to bear with us out there in the world of where we're streaming, because like we said, we have a lot of new drivers this season, a lot of new numbers. I'm looking at Brandon Domingue right there in the 20 truck right now, but that is not the case as he is with me tonight.
It's a little weird seeing a 20 truck out there and not being in it, but yeah, definitely not the start he wanted there. But one thing we can talk about with this is another one of the rule changes that has come up, and that's the caused caution rule, which has been enforced here on this first one, where if you are deemed by the league administrators that you are responsible for the accident that occurred, you will get an EOL penalty, which will move you to the back of the line. And if you got significant damage, obviously that's going to kind of be negated. But if you're damage free or staying out there, you're going to have to go back to the end of the line for the next restart, and that is being enforced here on David Miller on our first caution of the season. So he's going to be the first one that'll fall victim there to that caused caution rule here in SRN.
Yeah, we have 2 admins in the booth that are kind of working race control, along with our founder Jason Tripp, who is in every single race, and we like to always thank him for doing that. But along with him this season is going to be Aaron Gerwitz and Derek De Silva, and they're going to be taking a look at these replays to see exactly what happened, what they can do about it to kind of work with the drivers and obviously assess penalties. They're going to pull them up in the race control channel in Discord, kind of tell them, hey, this was your fault, here's what happened, because as a driver you don't always like to admit it's your fault, even though you might think it is, but they're going to tell you whether it was or not, and you're going to have to get a black flag and go to the back. So this will be their first test as admins in the booth this season, and we're already seeing it at work here, Brandon.
Seeing it at work on lap 1. Another thing we're seeing, this might be a little bit of an extended caution here, because they're going to have to sort out where everybody was, because the caution came out so fast. Not everybody got past the start-finish line. Looks like the lights are out on the pace car, so we might have had that settled pretty quickly. But it's a little, not a glitch, but a little bug there with iRacing. If everybody didn't get past the start-finish line before the caution came out, it can kind of mess with the order of things. So our admins there having a pretty busy first lap here at Daytona.
Yeah, it's really weird with iRacing where if, some of the cars in the field don't cross the start-finish line by the time the yellow comes out, they're kind of ruled a lap down, since those cars at the beginning of the pack are on lap 1, and they technically haven't taken lap 1. But we really know that is not the case, that these drivers are not a lap down, so they're trying to really work with them here. Not sure if we're going green, as there is a lot of space here between these drivers right now, but maybe that's just kind of to set the tone right now, as we've had an early caution. They're kind of maybe wanting to space it out a little bit.
Could just be that hopeful lights out on the pace car and that maybe they'll get it sorted out and we can go green, but they do have the power to extend it an extra lap if needed. So we'll kind of see if that pace car ducks off onto pit road and if we're going to get going. Trying to listen into the driver chat enough to see if we can pick up on it. I haven't been able to hear that. So we'll see what we got here as they come down out of turn 4. We'll see if we get lined up and get ready to go green.
This car is peeling off here. We're going to be going green right here with Michael Madden leading the 42 here on the inside line. But something happened. He must have missed a shift where that driver on the outside, Jason Kratky, got a good restart, and he got to the stripe first.
Yeah, it was a great jump there for Jason Kratky on the outside, but that inside line kind of tightened up a little bit more. It's almost like the 54 got too good of a jump and pulled a little bit too far away from Don Milkowitz behind him, and it let that inside line get real tight and let the power of that draft as they were still accelerating just take over, and it really set up Madden to pull away and get back out in front.
This is the most beautiful sight on track when you are that lead truck out there. You feel like nothing can touch you. You feel like you're safe. But then you get that big run on the outside like we're seeing from the 42 of Kevin Winker. And then just like that, you are under attack. But Michael Madden going to get a really good push here out of 4 from Bobby Anderson in that 18 machine. And we are side by side for the first full green lap coming back to the start-finish line here for Season 2 of SRN here at the Sparkle and Shine 125.
And it is a great sight to see a full green flag lap as we get really started now with the season in our truck series, and it's Michael Madden. We saw this a lot last year, him out in front, and we see it once again, but that was a nice move by Kevin Winker to get to the outside as he saw that window there that he could lead a train, and he's doing so on the outside line, which I think at Talladega you see a little bit more success with than at Daytona. There's a little bit more tighter corner here. And I think that does play a little bit to the inside line. But one thing he's got in his favor now is that 18 truck is starting to move ahead just a little bit of Mosby behind him. And that might actually hurt that push. But now the 18 is going to move to the outside, and he's going to lead that outside train and sort of hang out Michael Madden to dry just a little bit.
Shocked to see how racy these boys are. But like we said, we've had a month off of the off season here, and we are back at it just like that. And who doesn't want to be out in front? But right now, Bobby Anderson's going to have to clear him. Oh, he's going to get sucked right into the middle there. We're going to be 3 wide. He's going to fall back like a rock unless he can get some help there on the inside. You might see Sean Kozer get up behind him, or Sean Kozer could go to the high line. But right now, that side draft is helping out.
Oh no!
They got contact, and Jason Kratky's around right in front of the 55. Ooh, we're going to have to – oh, wow. Look at that wreck avoidance by the 97. Great job by these drivers.
Wind up only being 2. That is insane in the position that they were. And it's a product of that 3-wide racing. It's very easy to do, but if you get a little bit out of line, all of a sudden everything's going to go wrong. And how that only wound up being a 2-truck accident is beyond me. That is a fantastic job for everybody about 4th on back.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check out the Beer Street Journal Rec replay. As always, please drink responsibly. But we saw it happen there live. Bobby Anderson stuck in the middle here. I'm not sure if it was net code or just no, it might have been a little bit of both, but they were going to make contact regardless. And Kratky about goes on his lid there, but gets knocked back down. And like you said, only 2 or 3 drivers involved there. That's just incredible in its own right. But yeah, it's just way too tight down here. Not sure if that Kratky machine thought he might have been clear by then. Maybe not expecting the Bobby Anderson machine to still be there. But nonetheless, he was, and no, they just made contact. And lucky for Mike Mosby, who ended up getting a little bit of rear damage there, not much. I don't think it's going to affect him, but yeah, it's just unbelievable that we only had 2 drivers involved there. Great awareness by everybody.
Yeah, and we saw Kratky get up on his side just that little bit. Bobby Anderson obviously being in the middle there, getting that contact. Michael Amenti also getting caught up in that just a little bit. He's the one that catches Kratky and almost got him upside down, just nowhere to go for Amenti. And that really all started with Bobby Anderson getting trapped 3 wide, and that's that tough moment where he had that lead on the outside line, and he was a full length ahead of the inside line and Michael Madden, and I think he just didn't know what he wanted to do at that point. He kind of started to drift down to the inside, thinking, all right, I'll lead that inside line. Then he kind of hesitated, and when you hesitate at a plate track like Daytona, that is the worst thing that can happen. And you saw where that led to, is he got stuck in the middle 3 wide, and it led to our second caution of the night.
Definitely. Well, I am really surprised that not everybody went down there on the pit road that time. If there's anything that I try to do when restrictor plate racing, it's, protecting my fuel strategy, making sure, you are not behind the 8 ball and able to make it there to the end or set yourself up with a pit stop that can then make you there to the end. But maybe these guys know something that I don't know with the 70% fuel restriction that we run, only running 70% of the tank. Maybe they know that they can still make it there and want that clean air. But maybe a lot of the guys are also trying to get to the back of the field. And another thing that we have here this season, Brandon, is tire limits as well.
Yeah, we have instilled that, so you don't have that ability to come down every single caution should you want and replace those tires. Make it a little bit more real life with that limit, and it's a reasonable limit. It's not anything that's going to stretch anybody thin or put anybody in a bad position. So if you do get caught up in something where you have to get on the brakes heavy, you do have that set available. It's not like you have to really debate it, especially here at Daytona, where tires aren't going to be necessarily the biggest deal. But that might be something that we see playing out, or we could be seeing, you're looking at about 30 laps or so on a fuel tank. They might be thinking, you know what, we've already seen 2 cautions in the first 7 laps. Maybe we're going to see a lot more. Maybe we don't even need to make a pit stop tonight if we get enough caution laps.
Yeah, we're just going to have to see how it unfolds here coming up here in the next couple of laps when we go back to green. Running with Michael Madden last night at a Talladega race in the trucks, I'm quite surprised to see him running up towards the front there. Maybe that was a little bit of a wake-up call, but he's still going to be middle pack as we go back to green here in a couple laps. I know that last year you were able to clutch the truck and save yourself a good amount of laps here as well, because it's such a big track and you can get a good momentum going down the front stretch and back stretch and just kind of coast it. Maybe that will get them to that one-stop left strategy. So we're going to see what happens here if it goes green the whole way, which I know is a long shot at restrictor plate races, but anything is possible, Brandon.
Always possible, and we're not seeing super long cautions either. This is going to be a 3-lap caution before we get reset and get ready to go, as the lights are out on the truck. And they're all side by side, and one thing that's catching my eye right here is you're going to see striker trucks on the inside on the first and second row with Winker and Milkowitz. So we might be seeing some teamwork here, getting able to be used early. And I don't think we've seen any teammates get able to get lined up next to each other on a start or restart just yet. So it's curious to see how this one plays out.
Well, I can tell you that there are 3 or 4 revved racing trucks kind of all within the same vicinity of each other. Michael Madden is there in 7th place right now, with Lucas Lyons there in 10th, Sean Kozier 11th. And, I thought I saw Cody Riggs up there, but it might be a different blue truck. But nonetheless, I have a feeling that these guys, as we go back to green here on the Sparkle and Shine 125, are going to start trying to find one another. We're going to see people dumping down to the apron to kind of move back, as, it's been a little bit of a chippy race so far. It's been a race. We see these things kind of single file out early on and just kind of go on through the course of the race to get to that end. But right now, these guys are wanting to lead, and they're wanting that clean air, thinking that's the safest position. And right now, Kevin Winker has that spot.
Yeah, and we're starting to see 2 races kind of play out here, because you got about 8 to 10 trucks that already have damage from the first 2 cautions. They got to be knowing, hey, I don't have a fast repair left, because I'm going to imagine that they all used it at this point with the intensity of the cautions that we've had. So if they don't have a fast repair left, they're probably going to be sitting in the back, and then you're going to see another half of the field trying to get a little bit racier. And in fact, I think they're starting to learn the lesson of the first 2 cautions as they get through one green flag lap since the restart, and we're starting to spread out single file for the first time tonight.
They are single file from probably 1st through 20th right now, all the way back. And even further back beyond them is going to be a whole other pack that's starting to form up, which, you've got to be careful if you do start to fall back and kind of separate yourself from this lead pack. We found that out the hard way last night with my Rev Racing guys, that, man, we were just kind of tagging along from a second back, and oh wow, they are pushing down the backstretch, kind of getting Kevin Wanker a little loose in that 42 machine. But yeah, Milkowicz is definitely getting that bumper to his bumper and pushing him down there as they are moving down the backstretch, and we get a little bit of a blink out there. Makes our cameras freak out for a second, but we are back here. And like we see, these guys are starting to pull out from about maybe 10th on back to make that second line to move up. So these guys are not content with just riding along.
Yeah, and we're seeing the top 4 on the restart still be the top 4. They got sorted out pretty quickly, and now we're starting to see some side-by-side racing once again as it's Troy Techmeyer leading that outside line. He's working around Josh Mueller in that purple 26. And I believe that's Lucas Lyons that moved up to the outside to take the lead on that train. We got a little bit of contact mid-pack, and they're going to get it sorted out. No caution, no damage, it looks like. I believe that was Tevin Whitner and a couple others. Michael Madden dropping back as well. I'm not sure if that was contact or if he's just deciding, you know what, I've had enough of this mess going on up here.
I think it might have been a little bit of a shove from the 18 down the backstretch with, you know, these truck bumpers do not line up the best and can get very loose on you if it's a little bit more than a push. So maybe that was the case, but a great save by Michael Madden nonetheless. He's gonna fall back into a pack of about maybe 8 cars once they all get lined up, and he will be all right as they're about maybe 2 seconds off of that lead pack. But right now, this top line kind of fizzling out. They were super tight there at the beginning, and we're moving up towards the front. But right now, it looks like Techmeyer kind of moving up a little bit, and Lucas Lyons is going to be left out to dry here. He's going to have to fall back into line somewhere.
And there's one thing that we haven't really talked about tonight, and this is the first time that a lot of these drivers are around each other. With all the changes that we had, all the rookies that we're bringing into SRN and the Truck Series this season, you got a lot of people that don't know how people are going to be moving or reacting to things, and so there's a little bit more of a guessing game than we even see normally when it comes to racing at Daytona, because you don't know where everybody's going to be going. You don't know what certain drivers' tendencies are. That might make this a little bit shakier and lead to some of those moments that we've seen.
Yeah, well, we're starting to see that top line form back up again. That bottom line is going to need to get a little bit tighter, or they're going to keep that momentum up with just 5 trucks there on the high line.
Oh,
and
I
Lucas
don't like
Lyons moving up towards the front here. He's going to be up to the door of the 42 here as we enter turn 3, and he has got a full head of steam, and we are too wide for the lead.
I did not like how they were looking down that back straightaway, but they got sorted out pretty quickly. It looked like we were threatening 4 wide going into turn number 3, but Lucas Lyons going to pull that outside line out to the lead, and he will lead a lap for the first time in SRN.
Yeah, and another thing that is tough about restrictor plate racing, especially with a couple new guys on the roster this year, is, you know, it's just hard to see when you're in the pack, and you don't know really how the guy in front of you likes to be pushed, whether he likes to be really pushed down the backstretch or kind of just really get close to the bumper and help draft him up here. But right now it seems like Brian Crocker and Lucas Lyons are working really well together, and Lucas is going to drop down there to the bottom. And Michael York is going to move up in front of Brian Crocker here, former teammates.
Well, that was an aggressive move, and it pays off for York in that 23. That's a beautiful paint scheme on that truck as well. A little bit of that throwback to like Davey Allison days there as that Haviland truck getting out in front. But that was an aggressive move. He shot the middle pretty much with no support and got himself all the way up to the front and made that happen. And it was a little bit dicey in the process, but what a move there from Michael York in that 23.
Yeah, so this top 10, top 11, they are 2 by 2 by 2 with maybe the top 2 of Lucas Lyons and Kevin Wanker. The only single file car is just out front, but I have no doubt that Michael York will be getting a full head of steam as we're going to see Lucas kind of move up and try to get the block, or he's just going to try to go to the back here. Not sure what that was, but he is stuck up on the high side now. And we are 3 wide. He's going to have to fall back in line here in front of Tevin Whitner. Whitner lets him in. And now we got a battle for the lead with Michael York and Kevin Wanker.
Yeah, and you know what? I do notice that York is pretty aggressive on the plate tracks, not in a bad way. He just wants to be out in front. He always wants to be pushing forward. And I think when Lyons made that move up to the outside, he was trying to block that outside line and get out in front of that train. And Michael York just said, nope, I want no part of that, and ducked right down before Lyons even settled in on that outside and just kind of crossed him over. And that kind of set Lyons back just a couple extra rows.
That is such a hard move to pull off. So I can't fault him for trying. Maybe it was a little bit too early in the race to try it, but nonetheless, he's only fallen back to 5th, and he's back in line and in good position to attack at a later time in the race. He's just kind of got to settle in this top line, which is my preferred line. You can see more of the track, so I think he may have, maybe he wanted to be up there. I don't know. But, great to see Lucas out there leading a couple of laps as a rookie here in SRN, trying to make a name for himself. But right now, the one making a name for himself is that 42 machine of Kevin Winker out front.
Yeah, and he's new to the Striker team. Saw a lot of speed from him last year, and I won't say part-time, but he didn't run all the races last year. He was more than a part-timer, though. He just had good speed, good balance of aggression, and being conservative when he needed to. Really like what he brings to the table. He might be kind of one of those sneaky picks as we go out through the season, but just a good, consistent driver. You see him up in front quite a bit, and that was without a team last year. So really good to see him with a team and being out here and leading for the majority of the race thus far.
Yeah, good to see him out front, and good to see another new name, Don Malkowicz, pushing him and staying, pretty content behind him. Running in 3rd right now. You keep cycling to 2nd and 3rd as York gets a run and then drops back. But, yeah, Striker definitely has a good teamwork going on right now here up front and definitely making it work. And Kevin Winker is getting a few laps led early on in this season, and hopefully for him is going to be leading that last lap, but the top line has a full head of steam right now as you see the 86 really pushing that 23, and the Lucas Lyons number 7 machine is also getting in on the mix. Kind of had to check up a little bit there as he was thinking about going 3 wide, but now he is going to be the second car in line up high as we have a new leader, the 23 of Michael York.
And that's a good move there, cutting down to the inside once he got clear to do so. But it also cost him a little bit. Oh, we got a little bit of contact. One getting sideways. He saves it. That's Walt Lipicki coming back to the track. No harm, no foul for anybody else. But it's going to set him back a good 15 positions and then some. As Brian Crocker during all that moves out in front. But he's lost the draft pack as Lucas Lyons cuts to the inside. And he does the reverse of what happened to him earlier. And he's going to make the move out front.
It is unbelievable how racy these guys are. Not even to the halfway point of this race as we've got a good little green flag run going on. Not where Lucas Lyons wants to be right now as he keeps messing up when he's up front. He is going to be stuck in the middle, and we got lap traffic coming up as well. So we're going to have to sort this out before we get to them, and Lucas is going to be really careful as he almost comes down in front of the 16 of Dave Fuge. They're going to have to sort this out. It is wild right now.
Oh, man, there's a couple hairy moments there, but once again, we're back to Winker and Milkowitz back out in front, Dave Fuge in 3rd, and they are approaching some of the damaged vehicles that are riding around the back, and it looks like Jonathan Byer, who's going to be holding up against the wall, and that's a good, safe position to be, as that's a good job there. There's been some communication on the driver chat about where they want the lap traffic to go, and they are holding that line on the outside, so good communication there, and it's going to keep things pretty safe here.
These guys are making it look easy right now, but it is not easy by any means at Daytona. It is a very narrow super speedway. Looks a lot wider than it is, but that is not the case when you're in these trucks. So, someone's in the wall there. Not sure who that was. They are going to be getting a little bit of side damage there, potentially going to hurt their truck a little bit. Looked like a red and black truck. Not sure who it was, whether it was a lap car or not, but nonetheless, Lucas Lyons on this high side has a full head of steam. Again, he's going to try to drop down below in front of Kevin Winker, and he pulls it off this time. Kevin Winker is going to be pushing him down the backstretch. We'll see if that happens to stick or if Kevin Winker is going to try to get that spot back.
And we're seeing so many passes not even halfway into this race. And, man, you put this race at the start of the season. Last season, Daytona was our 4th or 5th race. And everybody had that little bit of time to kind of settle into the season. Starting it off under the lights at Daytona, everybody just gunning for it here in this opening half of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing it, and I know you do too, Brandon, from a commentator standpoint. But, man, I would be a little concerned if I was a driver out there. Especially with a few of them already having to use a faster pair already in this race. But we have seen some great green flag racing to start off Season 2 of Speed Racing Network. Lucas Lyons able to pull off that move to block the high line again. he is not content with just running one line. Oh, we got a wreck right here.
Huge wreck out of 2.
That looked like Michael York was involved. The 86 machine involved there.
Oh,
9
wow.
of 10 Whitner. We got about 10 to 15 trucks involved here. This is a big one.
Absolute yard sale on the Daytona super stretch. See a couple of lap trucks there. Jonathan Byer, Travis Trevelyan, they were lapped recently. They're caught up in this, but we're going to see several of our lead contending drivers caught up in our third caution of the night. And the third time, we go to the Beer Street Journal wreck replay, and this one is going to have huge implications on this race right around halfway.
Yeah, he just pushing a little bit in the turns there. It looks like maybe Brian Crocker pushing Michael York, turned Michael York and wrecked the rest of the field. We're going to really try to see what happened here. Might have been the other way around. Michael York may have been a net code. I don't know. We're going to have to look at that from up above. That looked really odd.
You know, it looked like Crocker came up to get into that little bit of a hole that was there on the outside, and what he did just kind of caught bumpers in a weird position there with Michael York, and I think that unsettled the truck, and when he tried to settle, it came right back up across. It looks like he had the space, and then it closed up just a little bit quicker than I think he thought it was. As you can see him kind of move up that little bit, I think they just kind of caught bumpers at the wrong spot. But we're seeing a lot of lane changes in a somewhat still early position in this race. And I think that was just a matter of time that something was going to happen. Actually, you know what? He was in that line as we look back a little bit farther back in this and then moving back up. So I'm not sure if they made contact and he got a little bit loose, what happened there, but definitely trying to get back into that line, and it kind of just set everything off.
Yeah, what happened there was the bumpers were not meeting up flushly, and that is a recipe for disaster. So, yeah, that's going to take out a lot of trucks. Hopefully those guys have their fast repairs still. Like we mentioned in the pre-race show presented by Healthcare Billing Incorporated, they only have one this season. So really having to manage that, and that is one reason why I am very surprised to see how aggressive this race has been so far, Brandon. But right now, everybody's going to come down and get maybe four tires and a full cell of fuel to maybe potentially make it to the end. Not sure if that is going to make it. It's going to be close.
The short pit here for Joseph DuPont, and that's going to see him out in front. It was either fuel only or possibly just missed the pit stall, and we missed that. But very quick stop there. Tires not necessarily a important factor here at Daytona. You can get by with some worn tires. So might be thinking a little bit of strategy and just taking fuel only there, and that 88 going to be out in front, and best place you can be is out in front. You're not going to have any trouble there with any cautions in front of you or any crashes in front of you.
My sim racing apps is not always 100% correct, but I'm showing a 3-second stop by Joseph DuPont, which in my book is not going to be enough fuel to make it to the end if they can make it to the end. That is a big if. We are not sure at the moment as they haven't had a full green run. It's going to be close, but they potentially could make it. We'll have to see how it plays out. But yeah, right now, Joseph DuPont is going to be our leader with Andrew Harris. He's going to be our runner-up car right now. So yeah, there's a few fuel-only stops, which is not a death sentence here at super speedways. You can easily get by with fuel-only, but a lot of guys taking tires there.
Yeah, and I think that part of that too might be, you know what, I'm going to be in here just packing this thing full of fuel. May as well take tires while I'm in here at the same time. And with 24 laps to go, anybody with a full fuel cell at this point, they can make it the rest of the way, barring green-white checker laps that extend the race. So they can go the rest of the way if they've got it full on fuel. And not sure why we got Andrew Harris dropping back here.
May have had a black flag. I know DuPont came back down pit road there. So we got all sorts of shuffling going on here as we are 1 to go. The green or the lights are off on the pace car, so they're really going to have to get this sorted out. We might see them extend this yellow here as it seems to be a little bit of confusion on the track. Fortunately, you know, a big 2.5 mile oval presents a lot of time on the pace laps to sort it out. We are going to see one more lap as the lights are back on the pace car.
Yeah, there was a lot of chatter going on. And it's actually going to be 2 laps to green from now. So yeah, an extra lap and a half here until we go green. And there was a lot of chatter on the driver chat with the admins, just trying to sort everything out. No point in going green at that point when there's that much confusion. Still trying to get people caught up and in line. So we'll take that extra lap, get it sorted out, and see if we can go green the rest of the way here. Hopefully things settle down for a lot of the drivers. As I'm thinking after that one, you might be seeing half the field and no fast repairs remaining after we just saw about a 12-15 truck wreck, bringing out our third caution.
Yeah, and 24 laps to go does not seem like a long time, but 50-second laps at 24 laps to go, that's quite a few, or it's a long time left in this race. We got a lot of racing left to do here, and we saw firsthand, we've seen these wrecks happen live, just how aggressive these guys have been, and I just have to imagine it's only going to get more ticked up. The intensity is going to just amplify even more as these laps tick off here. And one of the guys that we're used to seeing up front, moving up to the front here, he's in 4th right now. Cole Martin, last season's champion, up to the top 5 already. I have to imagine he is hungry to get up to the front and lead some laps, leave right where he left off in that Sandwich Man Racing Sports memorabilia truck, running for RSR full time this year in that 51 machine. He is definitely looking to get a repeat season title again this season, and he's not far off from where he was last year.
Yeah, you read my mind. I caught that glimpse of that red and black 51 and just thought, well, there we go. There he's moving right back up. We haven't mentioned him all night because he's been kind of sitting there in a conservative spot around mid-pack, and it's a different strategy from what we've seen from him on plate tracks last season, where that was probably his worst result-based performance on any type of track was at the plate tracks, averaged to finish in the mid-20s, just getting caught up in trouble each time at Daytona and Talladega, and maybe just that little bit of change in strategy, getting a little bit more team help there, thinking about what he needs to be doing, just change it up, and it's starting to work here as we see the defending champ in 4th.
Yeah, so the 2 team cars from Stryker Motorsports are going to be lined up on the inside, with the 2 team cars from RSR going to be lined up on the outside. The first 2 rows are going to be teammates, so we're going to see a lot of pushing, I feel like, here for this first green flag lap after this 3rd caution of the night. And we're going to see this pace car peel off soon, and it's going to get rowdy again here, Brandon.
I hope it's a lot more calm this time for at least the next 13 laps or so. Let's get to 10 to go, and then we'll start racing it out. But away we go once again. Hopefully we can get through to the end here for all these trucks' sake, as about half the field has had significant damage in these wrecks, and they're going to single file it out immediately there for the top 5.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of having a teammate just behind you in the lead. You can kind of count him down with you, and they both got really good restarts. You didn't see Milkowicz fall off too much from that 42 machine, and that was able to open up a gap for those RSR cars to fall in behind. And Troy is getting a big push from Cole Martin, getting him a little wiggly there. Cole's going to have to back off for a second, and they're not really as flush on the bumpers as you see that 33 and 42 are. They've really got the pushing down up front. These guys are going to have to work together to get past those guys, but they might just be settling in right now in a position where they can strike towards the end of the race here.
So I was hoping it was going to be a little bit cleaner. That lasted all of about 20 seconds before we started seeing some aggressive movement there with some heavy pushes, but they're starting to sort it out once again. It looks like the front 7 or 8 now single file. You have to go back a little bit to start seeing that 2 wide racing there, as it's the 35 of Johnson that's on the outside of Mosby. That's the first instance of 2 wide racing. We might be seeing that outside line starting to form once again. Bobby Anderson going to get caught in the middle, though, as he tried to lead that train and got up there a little too late.
He's back in the middle again, where we saw him get into a little bit of an accident last time. He put him on the side. We're going to have 3 wide, as Cole Martin was kind of pulling the 18. He decided better against it. But, man, Kyle Wimble and Bobby Anderson and Troy Techmeyer 3 wide right now. They are door-to-door. Bobby Anderson really close to Kyle Wimble, trying to get that side draft to stay in the middle, but I am not sure that's where he wants to be for too long.
So we've mentioned this before with 2 teammates getting lined up together. Now we got 3 teammates lined up together on the very outside with JBR, 1, 2, 3, and this might go a long way there. That's the first time we've seen that all night, where the lead pack is led by 3 teammates all together.
Did you see the Bobby Anderson made that side draft work and was able to clear that inside line after being stuck in the middle. Not sure I've seen that before, but man, these trucks have a lot of side draft force, and it really pushed that 42 back a little bit, and he was able to get out in front of that inside line. We're going to see if that's a move that gets that 18 Gravedigger machine out to the front as we are exiting forward, coming to the line. We'll see who leads this lap.
Certainly looks like it's going to pay off for the 18, maybe leading this lap, because that inside line holding that a little bit tighter and give the lead on that lap to Jack Johnson by 0.005 of a second. He was able to hold on to lead that lap.
Yeah, this is just absolutely fantastic racing. Man, it is making me a little bit nervous to get in the car tomorrow, Brandon. What do you think for that Xfinity race? I want nothing to do with this.
I'm thinking I made
5 laps to go.
Thinking I made the move from trucks to Xfinity in the wrong year, going from 2 fast repairs to no fast repairs all of a sudden, watching the way that these guys are going around here tonight.
Yeah, with that, I think we're going to see a completely different race tomorrow, but it is still giving these guys the courage to just really ramp up the intensity here and race each other very clean. We've only seen 3 cautions tonight, which is great, and that has the one fast repair has probably helped promote that. But man, these guys are really feeling each other out and getting to know each other very quickly here in Season 2 of Speed Racing Network. A lot of veterans up front, but Landon Cardulo in that 13 machine running fourth, second on that outside line in that blue 13. He is a rookie to SRN this year and trying to make a name for himself. We got lap traffic here. They're going to have to really do well. That guy is not giving them much room. Not sure who that is.
Yeah, the 64 kind of holding there in the middle, and that's a nervy position to be in with Walt Lepicki, and now we got a caution.
I'm pretty sure that lap car is responsible for this, not being able to get out of the way.
Looks like Kosher slowed up. Not sure if he was in it. There is a little bit of damage there to the front. See Rob Yost there. He was not in it. Now we got one sliding around. That's a 6 of Blair Holloman, the 06, excuse me. And it definitely sounds... It sounds like it was the lap traffic just trying to get out of the way there with Walt Lepicki, and we'll get a good look here on our 4th rec replay from Beer Street Journal.
Yeah, I saw that 64, that orange car. He just was not giving much room to these guys. Going to see if it really was his fault. We see him involved right there. Kosher, they might have made some contact, but...
Yeah. Yeah, that's Lepicki, Kosher. I believe I saw the 2 truck get involved as well there in the follow-through of that. And that's... You know, if you're a lap traffic, you want to stay on the apron or you want to stay as close to the wall as possible. This would be a good look at it. And little bit of netcode involved there, too. It looked like Kosher was trying to move up and maybe just... I'm not sure what the move would have been there. But it looked like he moved up at the same time. Lepicki just came down just a little bit.
Yeah, the air from these trucks can really make these, these slower trucks feel unsettled, too. So maybe he got a little loose on the backstretch, or I'm not sure there, but yeah, that's a hard position to be in when those trucks are 20 miles an hour faster than you and just flying by, and you're just looking in your mirror and holding on to that wheel tight. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one mostly on netcode. But yeah, really unfortunate to see some strong trucks involved in that. And our sponsor here, Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing, is owned by Sean Kosher, so we want to thank him, as always, for coming on board and being so supportive in this league. So hopefully he still has one of those fast repairs left. We'll see if he's able to get that truck fixed, along with a lot of these other guys that were involved. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he's running a Silverback Tax Solutions truck. My producer wanted to go ahead and point that out. But yeah, he's able to get that fast repair and get that beautiful 97 machine back running in this race. So he will be good to go here once he gets back out there with the field and able to keep pace with them. But right now, our leaders are 3 JBR trucks: Jack Johnson, Landon Cardullo, and Kyle Wimble.
Yeah, going to see those 3 JBR trucks, and they're going to have right behind them 2 Striker trucks. So we've got 2 teams represented in the top 5, as well as a impressive showing for the rookie Lucas Lyons in the 7. He's going to be in 6th, starting on the outside of row 3 on this restart. And he's been a little aggressive at times, but making it work, still staying there up in front. A great showing here for his debut race.
I see a little bit of spoiler damage there for him, but I can tell you, before we go ahead with the rest of the rundown, that Lucas is one of the hungriest drivers to prove himself that I know within Rev Racing. So he is excited to get out there. But yes, we're going to go ahead and have a Cup guy from last season, Dave Fuge, in that 16. He's in 7th. And then we got 3 RSR trucks with Cole Martin, Troy Techmeyer, and Nathan Mon in 10th. So
yeah, starting to see this sort out where team trucks are getting near each other at this point in the race, and with 15 to go, that might go a long way for these guys. And the one thing that's going to happen, though, is JBR was 1, 2, 3. That's going to set them up in opposite lines. So it's going to be Johnson and Wimble on the inside, Cardullo on the outside of row number 1. Got to imagine there's going to be a little bit of communicating there to get them back lined up quickly, but they can't take too long on it because you got teammates sitting in 4th and 5th. That might cause a little bit of a breakup there if they try to get lined up. It's going to be interesting to see how this works out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Landon is going to be able to really mesh in. He just might want to stick on the high line. It's never a bad idea to just control the 2 front rows. Or the front row with 2 team cars on the inside and the outside. That is also a strategy that I've seen pay off for teams in the past. So we'll see exactly what happens. You could just stack out the whole field behind you, force them to go 3 wide on the outside, and really stack things up here. But we'll see exactly what the plan is when we get back to green here after we get out of turns 3 and 4 with those pace lights off of the car. We're going to get the field lined up. They look a little bit spread out in the back. Not sure if those are lapped cars or what, but a lot of single file cars. A lot of cars involved in that last wreck, maybe pulling some faster pairs. We still got 26 cars on the lead lap. Trucks. I have a bad tendency of saying cars. I race the cars, but I know they're trucks. You got to bear with me. But we're going to go ahead and see this pace car pull off here, and it's going to be up to Jack Johnson in that 35 machine to really help his teammates know when he's going. And he gets a good restart on the inside. We're going to see if 13 drops down on the inside here. And yep, wow. The JBR cars are going to be 1, 2, 3 as Kevin Winker immediately shoots up to the outside. Lucas Lyon's going to be that 4th car on the inside with Cole Martin just behind him.
Yeah, I was worried about if JBR was going to take too long to get lined up. They did that absolutely perfectly. And the ones that struggled in getting lined up were the 42 and the 33 of Winker and Milkowitz, the teammates out of Stryker. They weren't able to do it as quickly, and that opened that door for Lucas Lyons along with Cole Martin to start sneaking up through the field there once again and make their way towards the front.
Lucas is really working this side draft. He's got to be careful as these guys get a little off the line here coming into turns 3 and 4. He's going to get some help behind him, though, in that sun drop machine driven by Nathan Mon there. He's going to have 5 cars for a line forming on the outside. Bobby Anderson just behind Nathan, man. And we're going to see if they can get the momentum there. That inside line is really tight, which, the outside line needs that to break up a little bit if they want to get some momentum here.
Yeah, that inside line, you mentioned it earlier, it do have a little bit of reduced vision when you're on the inside, but one thing that you do have is you have that line right there, and you know where you can stick to, and that does help keep things sorted out as straight as possible for the most part. It makes it a lot easier to do than on those outside lines where you normally have about 2.5 lanes to go, and there's a little bit more motion in that. So it does make it where that outside line can kind of lose a little bit of momentum there as they get kind of squirrely with each other as that inside stays tighter because they have that visual cue point of knowing where they needed to be.
This will be very impressive to see if this top line, now 6 trucks strong, can really get the momentum. We know these JBR cars in the top 3 on the inside line are not going to break off from one another, and it's going to take a lot of working together here on the high line to get that 7 machine, the 7 Ford F-150 driven by Lucas Lyons up to the front. But we are seeing some shuffling back there, moving up and down. People not sure where they want to race right now, but we're side by side with these top 2 trucks of Lucas Lyons and Jack Johnson here.
It is like a roller coaster here as they go into turn 3. Had to get that in with up and down and side by side over there. So they're now 2 wide, getting out of turn 4. Continues to be that JBR trio leading that inside line. Lucas Lyons still just inching his way forward lap by lap. But if he keeps this up and using that side draft, there it is again. You see him, and that's not really anything more than just packing the air into that that wheel well on the rear tire there, which just pulls it back like a parachute just a little bit and gives you that little bit of a more of a them slowing down more than you speeding up, obviously, and just pulls you up in front just a little bit. Very hard to do, especially on a sim where you have a little bit less feel for it. But he's doing a great job of that tonight.
Well, Brandon, I gotta ask, do you feel that? Do you feel that intensity just ramping up as we come back to the start-finish line for 10 laps to go? We're starting to see that high line stack up more and more trucks because they know it's time to get in position to make up some spots, and it is time to win this race. So we are going to get 10 laps to go this time by, and we are side by side from first all the way back to probably 20th.
Oh, it is a high-speed pace lap as they work through 1 and 2, 10 laps to go. And I got to tell you, I really like what this JBR trio is doing out in front. They're not kind of gaming it. They're not saying, hey, let's block this outside line when they had the chance to do so. They are just sticking together, and Mon is going to go make it 3 wide. He's going to hang Lucas Lyons out to dry, and this is going to be a little bit tight going into turn 3 at this point in the run, and Lyons going to keep it pinned up against the wall. Everybody going to get through pretty safe. Looks like Tevin Whitner caught the wall a little bit about mid-pack, but everybody else gets by okay, and now it's Nathan Mon on the outside, Jack Johnson on the inside.
Yeah, lucky for Lucas Lyons, able to fall back fourth in line on that high side, so still in a position to strike when the time needed or when the time presents itself. But yeah, these guys are really trying to hang each other out to dry and get that spot in the top of the line. And right now, Nathan Mon holds that position to be able to get past these JBR cars. But like you said, that is going to be a tough. Oh, we got Cole Martin into Andrew Harris.
Michael York involved as well as Cole Martin continues to be upside down.
Ooh, wow. That is going to give me vertigo if I am in VR. That was a big spin on the hood of that 51 machine. But with these 3 trucks that we saw right there, Michael York, Cole Martin, Andrew Harris, all former teammates.
All former teammates and all front-running contenders here tonight at Daytona. Good drivers when it comes to plate racing, whether or not the positions show it from last season. But for Cole Martin, his title defense is taking a hit on the very first race as he spends a lot of time upside down, kind of reminiscent of Tony Stewart many years ago, going upside down, just bouncing around for pretty much the entire back straightaway.
Yeah, Cole Martin down low, the 16 of Huge. A little bit higher there. Cole Martin maybe come up a little bit too much. Not sure if Huge was trying to go in the center line there, but still not giving the 51 very much room to work with. And that's all it takes to really just set off a big wreck here at Daytona.
Yeah, 3 wide. Not sure if Cole started to come up thinking I'm going to try to cut off that little bit of a run or if it was just moving off the line just a little bit. But going 3 wide, that is a risky scenario here. You can pull it off, but everybody has to stay in that straight line. And let's see what happens here from the in-car.
Oh, he held his line pretty well. So, yeah, just a little bit too tight a race. And, wow, this is... Hold your dinner, everybody. If you have a light stomach right now, I wouldn't watch that. But yeah, you see that 23 machine there. I think that's going to end his night. And what was a really good, strong night to begin. I believe he's already used his fast repair, being caught up in a wreck earlier on. But yeah, just very, very tight quarters right there. And the 16 just barely hooks last season's Truck Series champion there. And you mentioned it, Brandon. Cole Martin did not have the best finishes by any means on super speedways last year.
Yeah, that was his weak point result-wise. He drove well. I was around him a lot in those races. Just kind of got caught up in accidents similar to that one. Averaged 22.5 of a finishing position last year at Daytona and Talladega. And it looks like that's going to be a similar position again for him tonight, as we're still got about half the field on the lead lap. but that we're starting to see the damaged trucks pile up more and more. But kind of lost in all that, Nathan Mon leading the way now, as he had the nose out in front at the time when the caution came out. So he's going to be the leader with Bobby Anderson sitting in second.
Yeah, he's our leader at the moment. Jack Johnson going to be third. And then Ed Scherer, another new SRN driver this season, racing for RSR. He's going to be in fourth in that beautiful number 2 Napa machine. Landon Cardullo, I'm so sorry, Landon. We're going to get it figured out for you, bud. He's going to be in 5th place in that number 13 JBR truck.
Yeah, he'll be in 5th. 6th place is going to be Kyle Wimble, another one of the JBR drivers. Lucas Lyons continuing a strong showing here in his debut in the 7 truck will be in 7th. Dave Fuge is going to be sitting in the 8th position in that light blue and white 16 truck. Kevin Winker will be in 9th, and right behind him going to be his teammate Don Milkwitz, rounding out our top 10.
Yeah, they have been around each other all race, and maybe they're setting themselves up to get back up to the front. We saw the 42 lead what I think is most of the laps, if not the most laps of this race. So he definitely wants to get back up there as they start to sort themselves out, going 2 by 2 by 2 for this last pace lap. We're going to have 5 to go once we go green. Brandon, do you think we are going to see this thing go green the rest of the way?
Oh, for their sake, I want to say yes, but my gut is telling me we're going to be seeing at least one green-white checker here. With as aggressive as everything has been thus far, I don't think we're going to see it sort out and be conservative here the rest of the way. I'll be very surprised if we get to the white flag without seeing that caution. I'd love to see it, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you too, bud. I really want that for their sake to be able to race this thing out, but we just know how these races work, and people try putting their trucks in spaces that aren't there, and we'll see exactly what happens, but I expect a great finish nonetheless. So if you guys are joining us there out in the YouTube world or Facebook Live, we appreciate you joining us as always for the first race of SRN Season 2. We had a month off in the off season. These boys have been waiting to get out here to just, start a whole new slate and potentially win a championship for themselves. And it's coming down to this. We've seen a heck of a race so far, and we have 5 laps to go. We're going to see the pace car peel off here soon as Nathan Mon, our leader, took the outside lane to get in front of his teammate there in the 2 machine of Ed Scherer. And Bobby Anderson is going to be just in front of the JBR trucks of Jack Johnson and Landon Cardullo, and we are back green here. He's going to try and side draft the 2 to not let him get away and get down in front of him. Nathan's going to have to stay up high, or he's going to just come down low and leave his teammate hanging. I see some trucks shuffling back there. They seem to be keeping it straight, but we are underway, Brandon.
Yeah, and we're going to see 2 RSR trucks that are going to be leading each of those respective lines. JBR trucks trying to get it sorted out. There's a little bit of a hole, but I think it closed up too quick for Jack Johnson to slide up to the outside. And we've got a little bit of a mix-up here when it comes to these team trucks now and how they were running. But a couple of names I'm starting to see move towards the top 10 or in the top 10 include Michael Madden in the 15. He's now up to 9th. You see him shooting the gap up the middle there, 4th on that outside line. Also see Josh Mueller making the run, 2 of our better drivers when it came to results last year at these plate tracks.
And we're seeing teammates starting to find themselves. Lucas Lyons trying to get to the inside. Oh, he's going to turn.
No.
Oh.
This is a massive one up in the front stretch. One just got shot to the moon like Dogecoin. I believe that was Edward Scherer.
Yeah. Just talked about him, one of the newcomers this year. Unfortunately, getting turned there by Lucas Lyons, trying to fit it in the middle, go with his teammate Michael Madden, and there just was not enough room, it looked like. We're going to find out exactly what happened here with another Beer Street Journal wreck replay. This is our 6th caution of the night, and like you see it right there, just turns the 13. Yeah, the 7 of Lucas Lyons. I have a feeling he is going to be at fault by the admins there and have to take an EOL as well as getting that truck fixed. I'm not sure if he has another fast repair to go ahead and complete this race, but yeah, I just want to go ahead and point out that number 15 behind him, his teammate Michael Madden, getting through this, I believe, pretty cleanly.
Yeah, caught Kevin Winker just a little bit there with the left front. Winker got the worst out of that contact there. But man, what a job there threading the needle by Michael Madden. Just that little bit of contact, maybe a little damage to the left front, but I think everybody at this point, aside from our top three, are going to have damage at this point in the race.
Yeah, there is just absolutely nowhere to go, and he figured out a way to get through there pretty cleanly as you see that 2 truck just go into the fence. Wow. Thank goodness this is not real, because I feel like some fans would be taking a trip to the hospital after that one. That is, yeah, he just gets a little bit of the bumper and just turns them, and all heck breaks loose here.
Yeah, that 2 got more airtime than a Vlad Guerrero Jr. home run last night at the All-Star game, but we see about 15, 16 trucks caught up in this one, and we're going to save everybody's dinner and just keep it here on this far shot to take a look at this 2 truck, and this is a wild ride.
Yeah, that was weird.
I think he hit the ejector seat.
He just wanted to get out of there and just with Mr. Gadget there, Go Gadget, just bumped out it and went to the stands.
And we joke about it. We do have those witty moments there. That's a tough break there for the 2 truck, though. He had a great showing here in his debut, starting out with RSR, as well as a lot of those drivers that were caught up. And man, that was running in the Xfinity Series last season, coming down to the Truck Series, and it's Nathan Mon leading the way as we're going to hit our first green-white checker here once we get that restart.
Yeah, I ran with Nathan last season in Xfinity. He always seemed to be up there, towards the front, the top 10, and had a good, strong finish to last season. So, he just wanted to maybe step down. Maybe Wednesdays worked a little better for his schedule, and he's down here running with the trucks right now and really making a name for himself to start off. He's in position to win this race, but this is probably the last position that I want to be in when it comes down to the end of it, because you got to have your teammates with you. And right now, looking at the list, his closest teammate is back in 9th, Cole Martin. So he's not going to have much help to get a good push down the backstretch once, we got a couple JBR cars up towards the front, or no, that kind of went away as well. Yeah, the Rev Racing trucks are kind of starting to form there. We got Michael Madden and Sean Kozier and Cody Riggs all in the top 10. So right now, those guys are really setting up to really get a good run. We got a few Zuyos trucks up there. It's just, I'm so excited to see just how this ends. And I'm glad that the pace car has turned the lights off, because I think this is going to be the one, Brandon. I think we're going to get this thing done here, as we have a lot of trucks that are no longer in this race, and that's going to free up some space.
Yeah, hopefully we can get it good the rest of the way. And how about that for Cole Martin? He was upside down on the last caution, now sitting there around that top 10 position. But a couple of names we haven't mentioned tonight starting to show up, and that includes Rob Yost in the 98 truck sitting in 5th, Cody Riggs in the 224 in 9th. Those are guys that we have not said, and Blair Holloman we mentioned because of getting caught up in a caution. Those guys starting to make their move up towards the front with all the cautions that we've had and all the trucks that have gotten damage. That strategy is sitting back, paying off pretty well for those 3.
Yeah, we're going to see exactly how it fizzles out here as we are exiting turn 4 with the pace car lights off of the vehicle, which means we are going to go back to green after this 6th caution. Oh, man, it's going to be good. And we got some team trucks up here. We got some trucks that want to get their first wins ever in Speed Racing Network. And we got some hungry trucks from last season that want to make a name for themselves this season. And we're going to extend the green. I think Tripp heard me just how excited I was. And we are going to have one more lap, potentially 2. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Yeah, they're having a bit of trouble getting the field, to get back together.
Yeah, started seeing that outside line just kind of only have 4 trucks in it. So there was clearly something that was going on there. At first I was thinking, wow, there are that many trucks that had to ride the back there. But, so something definitely going on. We're going to get that sorted out, and we'll still get that green-white checker. That's going to be unaffected. But we'll take a little bit longer here.
Yeah, we will try to work out the system a little bit better as we kind of feel out exactly what the admins are doing as far as penalties go. see if we can get those handed down to us. I'm curious to know if Lucas Lyons was given a penalty there for that move that he made that just caused that last caution. But as the season goes, these are all new things that we're doing here, and we'll get that figured out for you guys at home. But we are going to be going to green hopefully this time by if they can get it all sorted out. But what we do have sorted out is our front row right now, and that's Nathan Mon and Kyle Wimble for JBR, 2 tough trucks.
I was looking to see if I could look back at the log for the EOL penalties, and with all the damaged trucks getting sent to the back and asking for EOLs, I can't even tell at this point. So it does look like he was given an EOL penalty. If that's for damage, I apologize, but I do believe that is for the caused caution rule.
All right, so we are getting confirmation that was a cause caution black flag. We are going to be not going green again this time. Not exactly sure what the confusion is, but nonetheless, you see those lights back on the pace car. You just want to get it right before we go back to green. You want to give everybody their fair share or fair chance to win this race and get this thing sorted out. So the admins are working diligently to get that done.
It looks like we got some mix-up with lap traffic being kind of mixed in with the lead group is what's going on with that. And I think that's just a product of all the damaged trucks asking for EOLs to go to the end of the line, trying to get to the end of this race, and I think it just caused some confusion there in the system that's getting cleared up.
All right, well, we're going to try and get that sorted out for everybody back home, see if we can get this field figured out. I see some shuffling going on. Looks like the 33 starting to move up towards the front. Not sure exactly. Looks like he's getting a lap back.
I got nothing at this point. So
yeah, I feel for Jason Tripp at this moment because this is probably just as confusing for him. All these drivers are super antsy. They want to get this race done and in the books just to see if they are going to be the ones in victory lane for the first race of Season 2 here at SRN. So it's just adding to the excitement. They're just going to prolong it a little bit longer, hopefully going green this time. Not sure if that will be the case. Still looks like they're pretty separated in the back of the field.
So far, I have not seen the caution extended. We may be going green this time.
We are green.
Here we go.
Wow, Nathan Mon able to get a really good restart there. He's going to be out in front of that 3 truck of Kyle Wimble. Michael Madden just behind the 3. They are very tightly packed here with Sean Kozier being left on the high side. He's going to try and bump down in behind that 16 of Dave Huge to not lose too many spots.
And that was huge for Nathan Mon to get to the inside as quickly as possible with that great jump, because that outside line was a bit of a mess. Did not have many trucks in it that were tight. And here we go. And the lap and a half to go. Now we're going to get a wild finish here.
Yeah, Michael Madden pushing the 3 with Rob Yost, Jack Johnson, and the 06 of Blair Holloman. That high line has a lot more trucks than that low line. They're going to need some more help there on the bottom if they want any chance of winning this race. We are 1 to go. White flag. This is going to be it. Next flag will end this race. Kyle,
3 wide going into
careful.
1. Oh. Great save. Got to be careful. Coming back up onto the track. He's going to clip back. And here we go.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Not sure who's going to win this race at this point, as the
only one moving is Dave Huge. Kevin Winker.
He's got damage.
We got Tevin Whitner bouncing around heavy.
We are still green.
I mean, yeah,
it's
behind him. Sean Jensick might take this. He's got the most momentum right now. We might see a rookie take the race here at Daytona, as it's Jensick to the outside trying to get that block from Dave Huge.
29, not going to be able to clear him potentially here. We are still green after that big wreck. Huge. Sean Jensick, the rookie in SRN, is going to bring home his first ever win. Bringing it home for last season's team champions of Rev Racing. What a finish there. A big mess on the backstretch. We're going to go check a rec replay. We got a lot to unravel here. We got interviews coming up. We got to check this rec replay out, and we got to see a celebration by a first-time winner here in that number 29 machine.
Hey, you know, they're not going to ask how it happened. They're going to ask where you finished. And for Jensic, his first start, first win at Daytona. Congratulations there for Sean Jensic. So we take a look back at this wild entry into Turn 1.
Wimble still coming back up on the track after getting turned. Not sure if that was the move.
There, but yeah, coming back up, and you got to try to. I mean, you got to be aggressive there and try to get back on, but you got to do it safely. And at that point, I mean, you get down there onto that inside. You're just thinking, I got to get going. I got to stay in it, trying to keep every position you can. But yeah, coming back up onto the track. It looks like a bit of netcode there with the 15. They might have been making contact anyway, and then just all you-know-what breaks loose behind them, and no truck avoided damage. And Dave Fuge almost had it lined up perfectly for him until Sean Jensic.
You don't even see him in this picture.
Yeah, he might have been around 20th at the start of that lap. Just found a way to get through it all and keep some momentum. There he is on the inside. Wow. Great job there from the 29, and that is the move of the night by far.
He is burning it down on the front stretch right now. First ever win, first ever race in Speed Racing Network. Yeah, he was way back there, and he did a great job of getting through it, and he's parked there on the front stretch, getting that flag from Barney up there, and just what a story. To come home with your first race, first win. He's batting 100% right now.
Wow, yeah, pulling a Ty Gibbs there is what a wild finish. And like I said, they're not going to ask how it happened. They're going to ask where you finished. And for Sean Jensic, he's going to finish in victory lane. And don't necessarily think this was going to be the top three you saw coming as they took that white flag.
You see it there, Sean in first. Second, going to be Dave Fuge, who we thought might be walking away with this win. Kevin Winker coming home in third after leading what I think is the most laps of this race. And Josh Mueller in fourth. And Rob Yost for Zuyos Racing is going to be fifth.
Jonathan Byer, who we saw getting lapped and having some significant damage, going to wind up sixth with all the chaos that happened there in the end. Bruce Amston will be seventh. Cole Martin was upside down at one point, but the defending champ is going to be in eighth. Nathan Mon, who was leading as they took that white flag, or in the lead contention, will be in ninth. And Danny Setzer is going to wind up rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, Michael Madden, who we thought was going to win this thing for a moment, coming home at 11th, so not bad by him either. Mike Mosby in 12th, Don Malkowitz in 13th, Sean Kozer 14th, and Blair Holloman in 15th.
Yeah, rounding out the top 20, we're going to have Kyle Wimble, who was the leader, taking the white flag. He's going to wind up in the 16th position. Lucas Lyons is a good showing for him, but going to wind up in 17th. Cody Riggs, 18th. Jack Johnson, 19th. He was up front for a lot of the race as well. Tevin Whitner, first truck, one lap down. He will round out the top 20.
Well, we got our first round of interviews after our first race of the season here in the Sparkle and Shine 125. This is going to be our third place finisher of Kevin Winker in that 42 machine. Kevin, congrats on the top three finish. Tell us about that race, bud.
Well, me and 33 there, we were just kind of hanging on the bottom there. Yeah, I know there's a be wreck, so there's no point to block. We were just kind of riding there, leading them laps, and then we got caught up in that one with, I don't know, I think 4 to go. I used my fast repair, and then that last lap, I just held her straight, floored, and somehow made it through.
Well, congrats on that one there, teammate. Man, that third place finish, and we saw you a lot, and it looked like you just love to hug that inside line, just kind of keep everything nice and steady. But with all that chaos around, I mean, once you got through that wreck, was there any thought that, hey, maybe I got a shot at catching Dave and Sean up there? But how did it feel getting through that wreck and seeing not a whole lot of traffic there in front of you afterwards?
Well, I was smoking, so I knew I was going to catch them, so I just had her pinned, and hopefully I didn't get passed by too many other guys, but I seen everybody else kind of get caught up, so I just held her. I know I was going to catch them, so I'll be happy with the third, though.
Yeah, it's not bad finish after that crazy last lap there, but third place gets you here in the booth. I know you probably got some people you want to go ahead and thank and give some shout outs to, so why don't you go ahead and lay them down for us, Kevin?
Just want to thank being part of Stryker Motorsports this year. Travis brought me on and privileged to be on his team, and just Speed Racing Network for awesome what you guys put on, and then you guys in the booth here, just you guys put on an awesome show.
Well, we appreciate that, man. And you guys put on an awesome show as well. You probably led what I think is the most laps out there. So a great start to the season for you, Kevin. We expect to be talking to you a bit more as the season goes on. So congratulations, bud.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the year, so we'll see what happens.
All right, man. Well, have a good night, and we will talk to you down the road.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, so that was Kevin Wanker coming home in third. Another newcomer here from the Cup Series last year coming home in second. We saw him trying to limp to the finish in first. Down the backstretch after that big one, we got Dave Fuge Jr. in the 16 machine. Dave, tell us about your race, bud.
I'm still, I think my heart rate's still up pretty good after that last lap. That was pretty wild. Really, my strategy was to just get up front, stay up front, try to stay out of trouble, take it easy. I had my fast repair all the way till the end. I used it right there at the end, which is a good thing. But I kind of feel bad for my teammate Rob because we had the strategy. He got out front of me, and I said, okay, go, go, go. We went to the high side. Well, I seen second and third peel up and go high on that last lap. I kind of made a split-second decision and went back to the bottom and made that run up front. And from there on, with you hit that white flag, you are not lifting. It's just hammer down. And I was trying to push the 21, but he was getting knocked around. And, the seas parted. That's all I can say. The Red Seas parted. So I had damage. I couldn't go any faster. And then Sean was able to catch me. And I'm just tickled with second. I mean, that's, you come out of Daytona with a top 5, and that's like a win. So super excited. Great way to kick off the season, and looking forward to the next race.
Yeah, and hey, that second place finish, it was probably the most exciting half power lap at the end that we've seen there with that block that almost worked. But man, that second place finish coming down to the Truck Series this season, setting yourself up for a good run the rest of the season. How do you see the rest of the season? Looking forward to the next 19 weeks.
Well, it's always a good thing to start off on the right foot. And I had some good luck tonight. I was able to really avoid a lot of stuff. There was another incident in the race where a lap truck was going up high. I recognized that there was going to be an incident, and I just jerked it hard left through the grass and was able to save my fast repair there because I wasn't in the middle of everything. So just, you really set yourself up with some good luck. You started off right off the bat, and hopefully this, keeps carrying through, and I'm pretty excited. Carrying the number 16 is a special number for me and a lot of success. So I'm excited. I'm ready to get after this Truck Series and have a good time.
Well, we're excited for you too, Dave. An excellent run tonight. You moved down from the Cup Series and you just immediately put your plate on the table and say, I'm here in the Truck Series. So we're excited to see what you do for the following 19 weeks of this season. Man, tonight was a long one, so we're excited to see exactly what unfolds down the road. But before we let you go, is there anybody that you would like to thank? You got any sponsors you would like to give a shout out to? Go ahead and lay them down for us, buddy.
Yeah, big shout out to Diamond Motors. Great car lot up there in Lakewood, Washington. Looking for that diamond in the rough, go see my man Brian Linders up there at Diamond Motors. And special shout out to my wife Rebecca. Without her allowing me to do this, I wouldn't even be able to be sitting here tonight and having a good time with everybody. So Sean, Greg, Brandon, awesome job up here, and Trip for doing all this stuff. Hard work, great lead, such a great time. Shout out to everybody, and looking forward to Kansas. Let's go get them.
I could tell you are a very smart man by giving the wife a shout out, so I'm sure she will love to hear that. But Dave, we're going to go ahead and let you go for the night and wish you the best of luck on the rest of the season. We expect to be seeing you up here more in the booth, so have a good night, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was our runner-up for tonight's Sparkle and Shine 125 for the Truck Series. Let's go ahead and bring up the winner of tonight's race, the Sparkle and Shine 125, a rookie in his first race with SRN. Sean Jensick is going to bring home the win after a wild last lap. Sean, I know you've got to be super excited right now. I know you pretty well. Go ahead and tell us about that last lap as we rewatch it. That was just absolutely insane.
That was crazy, but first off, I want to make sure that I thank Long MacArthur Ford, Sparkle and Shine, and Silverback Tax Solutions for helping me run out here. I'd like to thank my teammates, all my boys over at Reds Racing for giving me this opportunity. But it was my plan going into that was just hanging back, really. And that last caution, I lost the draft to the lead pack, so I was just trying to catch up, and I saw him wrecking, so I checked it down a little bit and then just made it through there with minimal damage and kept going.
What was that like when you saw the sea just parted there around you coming out of turn 2, and you just see that one truck under power, under about half power in front of you? What were you thinking at that point and that little bit of a chase down in the last half lap?
Yeah, it really didn't sink into me that I was going to go win the whole thing until I saw that one truck up there just as a sitting duck, and when I had enough power just to go power right by him. You know, he tried to put me up into the wall, still got by him, and it was just crazy.
Well, Sean, we worked together a lot in the off-season. We had a mini off-season racing series within Rev Racing. You really made an effort to show up to all of those races and put it out here tonight with your teammates and bring it in at home at first. Just tell us how exciting that is to just go out and win the first race in a new series after you've spent a whole month getting ready for it.
It's definitely exciting. It's, it's a feeling of accomplishment. My hard work's paying off. I was showing up to all those practice races and getting to know the guys better and strategizing with all of them, and just see it pay off like that in my first race too. It's crazy feeling.
All right, buddy. Well, we already got your shout outs for your sponsors, and you went off right off the bat with that. Let's go ahead and get you back down there to your teammates to celebrate an awesome win in your first race. I'm super excited for you, buddy. I'll be talking to you in a little bit, but congratulations, man, and we expect to be seeing more of that as the season unfolds.
Man, thank you.
All right, well, that was our winner, Sean Jensick, of Rookie in that 29 machine. Brandon, let's before we go ahead and talk about what's all going on next week. What did you think about that race?
Well, I don't even know what to think about that race. I know in the interviews we got some smart drivers. You mentioned Dave thanking his wife in there. How about Sean? Rookie, first race, first win. Let me thank the sponsors of the team before I say anything else. So we got some smart drivers here in the Truck Series. But as far as the race, man, that was about what you would expect with that first race. Everybody trying to get the most that they can. Oh, by the way, it's at Daytona under the lights. And a lot of aggression, a lot of guys gunning for it, and unfortunately we didn't get to see the clean finish that we would hope, but what a wild finish we did see.
Yeah, didn't get to see that clean finish like you said, but crazy nonetheless. We crowned a new winner in the league, which is always great to do, but we did see a lot of great racing out there. We saw a good long green flag run, a lot of side-by-side racing, a lot of teamwork out there. And, I really think it's setting us up for an awesome truck season for the following 19 weeks. It's only getting started now, Brandon. So next week we're going out to Kansas, and I don't think it's going to calm down one bit. That racetrack also promotes a lot of great racing.
Yeah, we saw 3 wide get a little bit nervy here at Daytona. At Kansas on the front stretch, you may be seeing them go 4-5 wide at times with that ability to run down the apron. So that's going to be an interesting race. Always a good challenge as we get to those tri-ovals on the 1.5-mile side of things. I really like Kansas. I think that's a great track that's going to showcase our drivers here in the Truck Series.
Brandon, we got a little bit of a score to settle tomorrow between the two of us. We'll both be in this Xfinity Series race for Speed Racing Network, the Sparkle and Shine 150, right back here at Daytona International Speedway. That's tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central, 9:30 Eastern. Brandon, are you going to cut me some slack out there?
As long as you do the same. But, and the big thing that we mentioned, it's 0 fast repairs in the Xfinity Series this year. So hopefully it's going to be a bit of a different race than we saw tonight where they did have that fast repair in their back pocket. And hopefully I will be completely biased. See the Stryker Motorsports Grid Finder Camaro getting out there. Also had to drop. I learned too. I had to drop the sponsor there as well while I can. But no, I'm excited for tomorrow. First Xfinity Series start for me. Looking forward to it being at Daytona. Hope you have a great race as well. Not just sucking up, so maybe I can get in the line. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a month-long wait, and just excited to get rolling again.
Yeah, same here, man. I just love this league so much. They present so many opportunities to all of us. Great broadcast. We always got to thank our producer behind the scenes, Sean Griffith, and Jason Tripp as well. They put on an absolutely fantastic league, but this is just getting started, and I'm excited to get out there with you, bud. But that's going to really end it for us tonight. We had an absolutely a great time just commentating this race for you guys out there, so we appreciate you always stopping by. But we always like to remind you to go faster.